And I call the member for Perth.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Any parent should be able to expect stable, predictable funding for their school.
Absolutely.
Sadly, there is complete chaos when it comes to the Coalition's approach to funding. Chaos. The complex field of mathematical study, now known as chaos theory, was founded on the work of Edward Lorenz at MIT. He wrote some 55 years ago, a passionate educator, a passionate sharer of knowledge, a paper called Deterministic Non-Periodic Flow. Many in this House would know that better today as the butterfly effect. I raise this because chaos theory is the only way that you can properly describe the Coalition's approach to school funding. The fluttering wings in the Liberal Party have led to chaos when it comes to school funding. Chaos that has caused COAG cancellation. The Prime Minister promised on the 26th of August that he said, "We've got a lot of work to do, but we're restoring stability." Tell that to a state premier or a territory chief minister. No stability in their program, no stability of when they're going to meet for COAG, no stability at all. Deputy Speaker, this debate is important to my community, and it's important to me as the son of 2 West Australian teachers. My father was a principal for many years. He proudly led Lance Holt School, which is now led by another great West Australian educator, one of my former teachers, Catherine Netherwood. Leading a school is a tough but rewarding job. You'd think at least that the government wouldn't make it any harder. They'd give you a little bit of certainty, a little bit of stability to let educators do what they do best. I know that my father stressed about his school budget, the need to ensure the stability of the school's finances, because also schools aren't just providers of education, particularly those in the independent and Catholic sector, are direct employers. When a school doesn't have secure funding, the teachers do not have secure work. It's just another way that when you don't provide that stability of funding, when you have a chaotic schools policy, you are disrespecting teachers. You're disrespecting people like my mum and my dad. Teachers work in chaotic environments, but the chaos they're used to is handling a classroom of 30 children or teenagers. It requires strength of character, but they shouldn't have to also worry about whether their school's going to have enough money to resource their school the following year. I also want to acknowledge that it's not just governments that fund schools. Parents and citizens and parents and friends organisations do amazing work finding that extra $1,000 here and there to grow a school's capacity to deliver for the students. So for many of those schools, it might be the canteen as the financial powerhouse of that parents and citizens or parents and friends. So I'll take the opportunity to give a shout-out today in this place to the staff and volunteers of school canteens across the country, providing stability, more stability than we see in this place, for the funding of their schools. And when we talk about stability, it's odd that we'd see the King of Chaos, often known as the member for Warringah, appointed as a special envoy for Indigenous affairs. One of the things that the special envoy has said is that he wants to increase Indigenous attendance at remote schools. I'm correctly advised that he did also say that he was going to do that as Prime Minister, although, to use that former Prime Minister's own words, he was rudely interrupted. The concern I have is that this is the same gentleman who said that living in Aboriginal communities was a, quote, lifestyle choice, not worthy of taxpayer funding. This is deeply concerning. And as has been pointed out in this place already, we've had 3 education ministers, 3 prime ministers, all sort of contributing to this general sense of complete chaos. But when it comes to Indigenous education, there are some bright spots. I'm pleased that Labor has taken the lead. It's worth remembering, as people have reminded, that it was Labor that set the principle of a student resource standard, an initiative researched by David Gonski, implemented by Prime Minister Julia Gillard to fund schools and students according to need. One of those was to place Indigenous students as a key funding driver, because this is how we deliver on our aspiration for Indigenous Australians. Today, I attended the launch of a report of Labor's First Nations Women's Policy Forum, helping amplify the voice of First Nations women to the Labor Party and to the Parliament of Australia. I want to commend the work that Senator Sue Lyons, the Deputy President of the Senate, has done in this space, and it will not surprise anyone that one of the most important things that those women raised was the need for certainty of funding for their schools to help kids achieve all that they can. and that's what I'm going to support them 100% of the way. Thank you.